But if you would like to introduce yourself, more than this, what I've told on the call, it'll be great from your end.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the generous introduction. In fact, it could have been less, so I can't edit it further. But anyway, I'm very happy to be here. These are very difficult times, and I have been wanting to speak to the community, which is what I've been doing here. I've been speaking through the radio, and of course, we have had a couple of rounds of Zoom interview. So I'm very happy that Bay Area Tamil Mandaram has taken this initiative, and all the several Tamil associations from all over the US are here. At the outset, namaskar, good evening, and vanakkam to all of you. I would like to tell you that these are, first and foremost, these are not normal times. When I say these are not normal times, we cannot have business as usual. This pandemic, which is now caught the entire world unawares, is something which has come to prove that we actually indeed live in what is called a global village sort of a thing. We do not have all these barriers, the boundaries. These are artificial. These have no meaning when something like this happens. And this also goes to prove that come what may, we have to respect the nature, and anything that is ordained by the nature has to be respected. Well, friends, at this point, we are going through a very bad phase. And of course, you are all aware that in the United States, actually the number of cases and the number of deaths which have occurred is actually it is overtaken Italy now, and with more than 20,000 deaths and more than 530,000 infected people. I would say that it is very important that we all move in a very disciplined manner, follow the guidelines, and ensure that we all keep safe and we stay at home to spend more time with family. At the same time, we have to, while we are at home, we have to ensure that the situation improves, and as quickly as possible we get back to work. But then I also wanted to tell you that it cannot be the same as it was before. We have to discipline ourselves, and we have to ensure that now the way we conduct ourselves has to be something which is really, really in a very disciplined way. Well, friends, this is as an introduction of the present pandemic and what the consequences are. I know that you have several questions. All of you have major links with India. You keep on traveling. There are Indian nationals here, and there are the PIOs, the people of Indian origin, now the OCI card holders, and the people who have been traveling to India. So I know that you have several questions, but let me tell you at the outset, before I take on your questions, what we have been doing during this period. When in California, it was decided that shelter in place should be very strictly enforced, and that order was passed, we got a clarification saying that as a consulate, we are part of the essential services, so we cannot really close down. But initially, when we started during the shelter-in-place period, when we were trying to provide the service, it so happened we were only providing emergency services, but then we were inundated with requests, and people started coming to the consulate directly as the outsourced agency CKGS was shut down. The CKGS was closed, so they were coming directly to the consulate. Now, this created a kind of situation with a lot of people crowding the consulate. The neighbors complained, and then, of course, the state of California requested us not to have any public dealing. And at the same time, as the situation also went from bad to worse, we decided to follow the request of the state of California, of the state government, and we had to close down. But having said that, we didn't close down fully. We continue to extend emergency services. In fact, we have very skeleton staff which continue to go to the consulate and to provide these emergency services. Just to tell you, now I'm speaking to you from my residence office. So I do operate from home, and many of our other diplomats in the consulate also operate from the residence, and also in our mission in Washington, D.C. and consulates in New York, Atlanta, Houston, Chicago. We are, while operating from home, we also ensure that there is a skeleton staff. There are some officers who do come to the office to ensure that any emergency aspect of work that needs to be addressed are really addressed without any problem. So far as the consulate is concerned, I know you have many questions, but before I take the questions, I want to clarify that at this point, there are travel restrictions. So you cannot travel to India till, as of now, it is April 14th. But there is a possibility that with the lockdown in India might get extended, although officially not yet announced. It's expected any time, and there is anticipation that it may get extended till the end of this month. And then we do not know what will be the situation about whether the flights will operate or they will continue to be non-operational till the time the lockdown is in place. So the travel restrictions and lockdown are interlinked. But I cannot tell you what the decision is at this point in time, so we'll have to wait and see. In the circumstances when the travel to India is not possible, there are people who have many emergency situations and who would like to travel to India. In fact, we are inundated with requests. Somebody's father passing away and was totally distraught. I could see that. I was very pained to see the only child and could not go and attend the father's funeral, and the last rites he had to make do with using technology by using the Zoom platform. So these are very unfortunate circumstances, and there are many such cases. But friends, somebody serious in India, people cannot travel. But friends, I just wanted to tell you that these are not normal times. So in case however much we want, we cannot put an exception to this and let people travel. I mean, first of all, there are no planes flying. And there have been, even for the Indian nationals who are here and students who would like to go back to India, there have been requested to have evacuation in place, to have special flights to get them back. But friends, as of now, we do not have any plans for evacuation from here and take them back. But I'm telling you the situation, the decision as of now. Let me just wanted to clarify something, because there are many also not only Indian nationals, the OCI card holders who are students here but their families are in India. They are American nationals but would like to travel to India and need our help. But I just wanted to mention something, which is what I have been telling many people, that it is not safe for you to travel at this point in time. And there are many people who are actually, you don't have any symptoms. They are asymptomatic carriers. You do not see any symptoms, but they have the infection and they can transmit to you. So you might, if the flights operate and you're sitting next to somebody, and you might think that, okay, he or she is perfectly all right, but for all you know that he or she could be a silent carrier. So it is not in your interest to travel, not in interest of your family to travel. And then if permission is given and if you travel, at this point on reaching India, unfortunately, everyone has to be put on mandatory quarantine for 14 days, at least 14 days. So the tests have to be undertaken. So at this point, what we try to tell people that be indoors, be where you are until the situation improves. And it's not going to be, it's not a permanent lockdown. The travel restrictions cannot go on indefinitely. We don't want, even the airlines industry has, it's a commercial entity, but then people's life is more precious than anything else. So that is why I would urge everybody to, think about it and remain safe at this time. So now a very simple thing when people say that I need an emergency visa. Visa for what? To travel to India. Now, of course, the visa online application, the e-visa, all those have been frozen. You cannot apply through CKGS as well. But even emergency visa applying directly with the consulate is also, or with our other consulates or our mission in DC, Washington, DC, is also not relevant at this point when you cannot travel to India. So some people, for some reason, they want the visa immediately so that the first day the flights operator would like to go back. So on a case-to-case basis, if there is a real emergency, because you have to also understand, now this has to be manually done. Of course, application has to be online, but it has to be sent to, there will be no, it's a very complicated process, but it has to be done by the consulate without any direct public dealing, so through courier. So, but at this point, when India is closed, travel is not possible, so visa, applying for visa, I don't think is required. So people have to understand this and wait for CKGS to open, wait for the shelter in place to be removed so that you can apply for visa. So far as passports are concerned, I thought I must tell you that there are several people whose passports have to be renewed because either their status here requires a valid passport, or there are people who require to travel elsewhere and not to India, where there's a possibility for them to travel, or there are people whose H-1B is coming to an end and they need the passport also to, before asking for a renewal or before anything else, any other work. So any emergency passport requirement, be in touch with us by email, and I think I could share with you an email address where everybody could, whoever has this emergency to contact us regarding passport could do. The email address is passport number 2.sf at mea.gov.in. It is there on our website, and in any case, anybody who is outside the jurisdiction of the San Francisco consulate will have to contact the respective consulate, be New York, Atlanta, Houston, or Chicago, or Washington, D.C. But so far as the area under this consulate's jurisdiction, please send us an email and we'll attend to you. Other than that, we also have, whenever you move to our website or our social media platform, we have given our emergency numbers and our email address. I can tell you that we are responding now on real-time basis. People are working from home. There are teams which have been constituted, and we are responding on real-time basis. Initially, we said within 24 hours, but now we are responding almost immediately. There are several queries which you receive on OCI. People want to know that, look, I
Sir,
need
can
to
you repeat the email ID again?
Yeah, the email ID, but this pertains to only those which are under the jurisdiction of San Francisco. in the West Coast. The email ID is passport2 as the number 2, passport2.sf, SF for San Francisco, passport2.sf at mea.gov.in.
In the chat too, I have put the that email ID. I was looking for Renewal 2. I did ask a question and I did send out an email to them. Yeah, I did send it out, but it is looks like they are only doing for emergency. But my passport is expired, so I want to get it going.
I'll take specific questions as soon as I'm through.
Sorry.
I'll take specific questions and I'll guide you how to go about it. Okay. So let me just complete. So far as OCI is concerned, I find there's a lot of confusion going on. There are people saying that, look, my OCI needs to be renewed and I have a valid OCI, so can I travel? So my answer to that is now OCI is, even those who have OCI cards, you cannot travel to India using your OCI card. Anybody at this point in time, of course, there's no question of traveling to India because the travel restrictions are there and lockdown is in place. But I can tell you that even when the valid visas and valid OCA cards were frozen, then those people who are traveling, they could only travel by taking emergency visa directly from the consulate, which we are providing on a case-to-case basis in certain circumstances which required their presence in India. So we were providing emergency visa to such people. But so far as OCI is concerned, there are people who are asking this question that, look, my passport is sent, my application is pending, what do I do? Even this is the same thing which also applies for passports. There are people who are saying that, look, my passport is at the consulate, how do I get it back? I do not have any travel document with me. Even some people are asking, I had applied for an OCI, so when do I get it back? When do I get my OCI? So far as passports are concerned, I just wanted to tell you that, of course, as per the norm, CKGS was supposed to send it back, but now CKGS is closed. So what you could do is, you could send a prepaid courier envelope or any separate courier arrangement so that the consulate can send it directly to you, and whatever you are paid CKGS after the open, that can be reimbursed to you later by CKGS. This is something which we have instituted so far as San Francisco is concerned. You'll have to see for those who are out of this consulate's jurisdiction, you have to see what is the kind of system that the other consulates have in place. So far as the OCI is concerned, I am afraid you'll have to wait for CKGS to open. If anybody is thinking of traveling immediately after the restrictions are removed, don't think of traveling using your OCI, because that will take a little time for you, OCI to be processed, printed in India, then to be delivered here. We still, in San Francisco, we don't have OCI printing mechanism, so we get it printed in India. And so it will take time. And if it is a case of OCI renewal, we can give it within maximum 15 days. But anybody who has to travel immediately after the travel restrictions resume, I would urge you to apply for visa. And if as soon as the visa opens, e-visa or regular visa, do apply for visa and do your travel. And after coming back, your OCI can be renewed. So I think I have basically covered what I wanted to say. In addition, I wanted to also tell you there are many Indian, parents of in Indian community. This is one of the problems people are encountering, and I think I must mention about this. There are parents or others, relatives who are visiting from India. They are stuck here. They cannot go back, and their visa is expiring. So they are asking us, how do we go about it? So we have been in touch with the US government authorities, with the State Department, with Homeland Security, And what I would say is that people should immediately apply for visa extension, explaining the circumstances directly with USCIS. In fact, there is a website, I have the details here, I can share with you. So it should be applied immediately to US, it is uscis.gov/coronavirus. There's a particular page that you can go, and all information is provided there by the US government, uscis.gov/coronavirus. So there you can ask for extension. And there is another issue which many of the people are facing, about especially senior citizens, parents, and other relatives who are on prescription drugs, and because of this overstaying, their medical supplies or their drugs are getting over, and they cannot buy this here without a local prescription. So we have made some arrangements. Some doctors in the community have come together, and they are helping these people in getting prescription. So we are guiding people, anybody who approaches us, we are putting them in touch with the doctors so that this problem is not there. Well, friends, I have tried to cover as much as possible, but again, I wanted to tell you that these are trying times, and so we cannot have business as usual, so I seek your understanding. I will be very happy to take your questions and interact with you for the next half an hour. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay. It was very briefly, you have answered most of the predefined questions already, and more of FAQs from anyone we have collected so far. So the format of the call, I would just, in order to make it take use of your time, we wanted to arrange in such a way that you answer the organize the questions first, and then maybe we'll allow the last 15 minutes for the people who joined in the call. So that way everybody can get help, because the questions are not moderated at this point, and it could be repetitive. So we have gathered the questions from everyone in the past by circulating the flyers. So I would probably go through the questions here, and then for the callers who is listening, so if your questions are not being answered here, please wait for the last 15 minutes, and we will open up the call to everyone, and then you can ask. And even if the last 15 minutes the questions are not answered properly, we already gave the email, and you can always email us, and we will try to get the answers passing on to Mr. Sanjay.
Connect. I just noticed that while I was speaking, there was about quite a lot of questions, a lot of things have come in. If you want, I can go quickly one by one and see if I can answer those, because people have specific questions.
Okay, yeah. So if you feel like, yeah.
Okay. So somebody says, my passport is with the consulate for renewal, and I have submitted it before this COVID situation to Atlanta consulate. Okay. Please do contact the consulate at Atlanta. What we are doing in San Francisco is we know there are many such problems, and as I said, we are asking people to send a prepaid courier envelope, and we are sending the passport back after renewal. After renewing it, we are sending it back. So just see how Atlanta, you'll have to contact the consulate in Atlanta directly. Then somebody is asking, my father, 70 years of age, visa is expiring in June 1st week. Can I extend his visa? What is the process? How long of an extension is allowed? I have already answered this question. You'll have to get in touch with CIS. Go to their website. It's very, very well explained how to go about with it. And you put USCIS.org/coronavirus and USCIS.gov/coronavirus. So you'll get this specific information. So that I'm not in a position to answer this, but you'll get all information from there. Since CKGS is closed, when can I expect my passport back? I have already answered that. Then say my visa is expiring in November 2020, and the renewal can begin 6 months before, which would be in May, April. My passport is also expiring this November at the same time, but due to CKGS closure, I could not be able to send my document renewal. I could get my passport renewed. What are my options to get my passport renewed? You see, this is the current shutdown. What I suggest is that you wait till this shelter-in-place orders are there, and the first week of May, and do contact us in the first week of May, and we will take a call at that point. So don't worry, it will be attended to. So even with CKGS closure, we cannot let renewals and any situation of this nature to be affected, but I would urge you to wait till then. And in case of any, you can also send email on our emergency line so that we give specific details, but I would urge you to wait till the first week of May. Then somebody says I'm planning for an urgent travel to India and noticed that my passport got expired on 23rd February 2020. You'll have to apply for visa when it opens. If it is an emergency, we'll be able to process the visa, but only after the restrictions, travel restrictions. Okay. So when will international travel to India start? I wish I could share that information with you. I myself, I am also eager to know. In fact, I am waiting to travel. So, well, I think let me confess with the speakers here. In fact, while all this is going on, I've been appointed as the ambassador of India to the Republic of Turkey. So I have been asked to move quickly, but with travel restrictions in place, I'm also stuck. My stuff is packed, so it's gone. I'm leaving out of suitcases. So I'm also waiting for travel restrictions to be removed so that I can also move. So we are in the same boat. But we'll get to, obviously, it cannot be indefinite. Whatever is in our interest, in the interest of our families, that's being done, but it should move quickly. Now that CKGS is closed, what should I do? Send an email to passport2sf@mea.gov. Yeah, do send us an email, passport2.sf@mea.gov.in, and you will get a response on real-time basis. My daughter's passport expired. What can we expect? Normal passport processing will start. As soon as CKGS opens, the normal passport services will start. Not now. Only emergency passport is what we are handling now. When will USA citizens be able to get Indian tourist visa? Well, I have answered this already. As soon as we are ready and things are better, so it hasn't started as yet. So we are not giving the visa, only emergency consular services are being attended to at this point. Somebody says, I'd like to apply OCI for my son with CKGS closure. How should he proceed with applying for OCI? Please wait for CKGS to open. OCI application is not, we don't treat it now as an emergency service. You have to understand we are operating with a skeleton staff, and there is a process also which has to be followed. So OCI we cannot handle. I mean, it has to come through CKGS. So we'll have to, I'm afraid you'll have to wait, and CKGS will open after the shelter-in-place orders are removed. My mother is 75 years of age, will be completing 6 months of stay in the US and tourist visa. Can she extend her stay? I've already answered this question. I have an emergency situation, have to travel to India ASAP. What are the options we have at the moment? Unfortunately, I'm very sorry. I can only say that at this point in time, it is impossible to travel to India, even at this, to attend to an emergency. So I can only sympathize with you, and that is how it is. And it is in your interest and in the interest of your family and everybody's interest that please refrain from traveling now. OCI is stuck in processing right now. When can we expect the process to restart? I've answered this after CKGS open, after shelter-in-place schools. Thanks for arranging this question. My kid, less than a year, who is at India on e-visa because of COVID-19, they were not able to get back here. What is the best way to extend the e-visa, or any best option to avoid future travel to India? See, extending e-visa now is very simple. That in India, while in India, you don't have to have any face-to-face contact with anybody. Don't have to go to FRRO. This can be done online. This can be done online visiting the FRRO site. If you first go to FRRO website, they guide you through the process, and it's very, very simple. And people have been thankful because it's working very well. Then I mean to say avoid future visa issues for the next India visit. Future visa issue for next India visit. Well, visa we will issue only after this shutdown and opens up. India opens up and travel restrictions are not there and flights resume. When will flight resume? I've answered this. I wish I knew. I had applied for OCI for my kid in January 2020, but since process is stopped, would like to know when we can accept OCI process to start. Currently, kid has a valid tourist visa to India. Thanks. The valid tourist visa, of course, has no meaning at this point because at this point, all existing visas are frozen. And OCI, of course, will start as soon as CKG and the shelter in place in California is removed. Emergency. My kid has OCI, has a renewed passport now. We have completed the online OCI renewal application. I have not mailed the printed documents CKGs. Will this affect his possible travel to India in summer? You'll have to hold on if there is a application. If there is a gap of about a month, we will have to reapply because that number, that unique ID may not be there. But you'll have to see. This is a technical thing. I do not know how this will work because CKGS is closed now. But you'll have to wait for CKGS. Can I apply for US citizenship? And while the US citizenship is in the process, can I renew Indian passport as for renewal? If it's an emergency that you have to apply for US passport, US citizenship, and you have to renew the Indian passport because it's due for renewal, do contact us. In fact, send us an email. We'll guide you through the process. There are so many questions. I've extended my B2 visa through I-530 process till July. However, with current situation, not sure if they can travel back to India. Excuse me. I've extended my B2 visa through July. However, with current not sure. Is there a way we can extend? Yeah, you'll have to contact USCIS. I'm an H1B visa which would expire on 24th of July. My infant child does not have an OCI card yet. Will he be able to get an e-visa? Not now. Unfortunately, not now. But you'll have to contact about your H1B visa extension. Well, 24th July, so you have time, but you'll have to get in touch with USCIS. Good evening, sir. My daughter's passport is expiring by September 2020 with valid H4 visa till April 21. Due to COVID-19, it may be difficult to get a notary signature for documents done. Is there any other option available, such as active Aadhaar card with biometric taken, is to complete online application in this crisis situation? You send an email. We are making certain exceptions, but certain verification is also required. If notary signature is to be given an exemption, do send an email to the email address passport2.sf that I mentioned. We'll assist you in the process. And you'll get a response immediately, so don't worry. I have green card, but due to COVID, my Indian passport may expire without renewal. Will it be legal to stay in use without Indian passport validity? This is a very, of course, it will be legal to stay here without Indian passport validity. So send us an email, we'll guide you through the process. I cannot give, you can appreciate with the limited time, it's not possible for me to go through specific cases and examine and tell you exactly how it is to be done. My passport officer will promptly respond to you if you send an email. My F1, and that's only about San Francisco jurisdiction. Those under New York, Atlanta, Houston, Chicago's jurisdiction, please write to them. Then F1 visa expired July 29, and I'm currently on OPT. My passport is expiring on April 27th, thus I need to renew my passport ASAP to maintain valid status. Could you please tell me how to renew my passport? The SF office is closed and I live in Arizona. Well, let me tell you, we are closed, but we are working. The office is physically closed, but we are working. From wherever, we are working. So send an email giving your details and we will guide you through the process. We understand there are many such cases and we have been renewing the passports. Thank you for doing that. My passport along with I-94 is expiring in July 2020. Passport is in SFO Consul now as part of my renewal. Will I be able to get it renewed before July? If not, is that? Yes, of course you can get it renewed. Send an email to passport2.sf at MEA.gov. Then somebody has sent me a link. Well, I cannot go through it now. I want to renew my wife's passport is valid till October 2020. No emergency travel plans as of now. Can I submit the application now for passport renewal? If there are no emergency travel plan now, and if you're valid till October 2020, please wait for some time when CKGS opens and then apply. My daughter's passport is expiring end of April 2020. When can we renew it, and will there be any problem with the legal status of state if the passport cannot be renewed? It's not correct to say passport cannot be renewed. Passports can be renewed on emergency basis. So please, if something is expiring at the end of April 2020, we will be renewed. Send an email, we'll tell you, guide you through the process. My 3-year-old US citizen stuck in India with my wife, Indian citizen. She has an India travel visa, no OCI valid till August 21, but her 6-month term stay will be completed by mid-May. Is there a chance she can stay in India longer? Of course, she can stay in longer by getting it extended through FRRO, which I've already mentioned. Like that mail address here. Mail address has already been typed. That are you talking about the mail address of FRRO? That you'll find very easily on the net. Also, I want to renew my children's OCI. When will I be able to start the online application? CKGS, after CKGS opens, now shelter in place is till 2nd of May. After that, hopefully, if there's no extension, you can apply. My daughter's passport application is with the Indian Consul in San Francisco in progress. How do we get the passport renewed and returned? Passport is getting expired on April 26, 2020. If the passport is there, anyway, send us an email, but I think the easier way would be to send a prepaid courier envelope so that it can be sent back and you will get a refund from CKGS later. Well, can you please repeat the email ID? So that has been repeated, passport2.sf@MEA.gov. So could you please tell us what's the email ID for the East Coast region, Washington, D.C.? You'll find it on the net. I don't have it readily with me. And my dad is here on B2 and his I-94 expired on 3/26. I've submitted online I-53 and an application with request to extend until 4/30. Should I submit another application for a different extension date? This is something which you will have to take up with USCIS, as I mentioned, and they are addressing these concerns. I can assure you. You can hear if you have any problem. Okay. Are there any other? Yeah, passport. A passport consulate office is essential office. Why isn't CKGS? Well, this is a very valid point. In fact, this is what we also started talking to CKGS. The office is actually depends on the people. Now, with the people coming from very far distances and with lot of trouble, lot of difficulty, it was impossible for CKGS, although we could invoke that it's an essential service that is being rendered. But as you could see, the consulate also had to close down, although it is an essential service, because the neighbors, the people around, and then the state government also requested. So CKGS closed down, we also closed down. It's a different story that we do not want our people to be inconvenienced. So we are operating with a skeleton staff. We have just to ensure that no emergency consular services. People are not deprived of any emergency consular services. Now, there's something which I thought I'll also mention here about police certificate. Nobody has police clearance certificate, though nobody has asked me here. That is something also which we are providing on an emergency. So, there are more questions. What is the current procedure for US passport OCI renewal? This I've mentioned to you. Then somebody from Dallas, Texas, passport is expiring in August 2020. So valid till November due to his passport expiring is I-94. So these are emergency services. You contact, and Houston, our consulate is very much operational. They're open. They're working. So there's no shutdown, full shutdown there. So please do send them an email, contact them, and that's one of our most efficient consulates here. In fact, you can also contact them over the telephone, leave a message, and they call back. They have a nice system in place. I've told you about US passport OCI renewal. I'm from Portland, Oregon. My I-94 valid till December. Passport is expiring in June. Get your passport renewed. Contact us. passport2.sf. I've given the email address, and we'll guide you through the process. Extend parents' passport 6 months before expiry if they are currently here in the US, and B2 visa expiring July 20. Yes, you can, but let my passport officer respond to this. Send an email. Okay? How to send prepaid envelope to SFO consulate? I couldn't find any details in the website. Well, I'll tell you how to go about it. This is not something which you'll find on the website because of the problem which you're facing now. It should be, what I suggest is you send an email to passport2.sf@mea.gov.in, and our passport officer, Mr. Yusuf Jamal, will send you a reply and guide you how to go about it. My passport expiring in June 2020. How do I apply? Can I stay on US H1B in case renewal does not happen by that time? Passports need to be renewed, and for US H1B, how in case you cannot travel, although it is expiring, you'll have to contact us. uscis.gov/coronavirus is not working. There's somebody who says that uscis.gov.
Sir, we checked it. No, it's working. I repasted the link, so please ignore
Okay,
it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. No, this is, I was taking because they sent us this message that
No, it's working.
you
It's
please
working.
guide people.
Yeah, it is working. It is working.
Okay. I'm a US citizen, need to travel for family emergency. Can I get emergency visa the day you are available, or is possible to get it in advance? In very exceptional cases, you see, our resources are really stretched. If you think that you can apply for visa as soon as the restrictions are removed, we'll give you emergency visa. But if you want to apply now, we can't even tell you because when it is valid, we can issue you emergency visa, but it's a very cumbersome process because everything has to be done manually. So if you cannot really wait, then you'll have to explain the circumstances to us, and we'll then guide you whether it's possible. Go to our website or any social media platform. We have given our emergency email address, telephone number. You send an email, you'll get a response how it will be done. But I would advise you that please don't ask for emergency visas at this stage when you cannot travel. And of course, before any resumption of before the travel restrictions are removed, there will be a lead time which is given. 5-6 days or a week or even longer will be given. If that is the situation, you can even apply for emergency visa then. So the emergency visa is something which we'll be able to take care very quickly. What's the current procedure for OCI renewal? Please, after the renewal of US passport, I'm 63 years old now. If your passport after the age of 50, if your OCI was not renewed once after the age of 50, then you will have to get it renewed and ask for OCI renewal. It takes 15 days. But if your OCI has been issued or has been renewed once after the age of 50, you don't have to bother. But anyway, at this point in time, you cannot do anything. I mean, just wait for CKGs to open. If the OCI needs to be extended every 5 years because of the validity of minors, passport will be valid only for plan. Yes, OCI needs to be extended every 5 years till the minor, till the applicant, till you are at the age of 21. Between 21 and 50, you don't have to apply. So it needs to be extended. But anyway, again, at this time, you'll have to wait. I've applied for my mother's visa extension, sent an application with fees and documents to USCIS by post. When shall I know the details of the visa extension? Unfortunately, the Indian consulate has no role in the visa extension by the US government authorities. You'll have to contact USCIS. My wife and my daughter both passports have expired. How could I renew it? If you can wait till these are already expired, so you have to wait till CKGS opens. And otherwise, if you have any immediate need for your passports right now, then you'll have to contact the consulate and we'll guide you through the process. I've already given you the email address. Can you tell me what would be appropriate time to plan travel to India, July or August? I leave it to your judgment. Whatever suits you. But very difficult to say at this point what would be the appropriate time. Hopefully everything would have opened up by that time. My H1B is expiring by June 2020 and cannot be extended further if the travel restrictions not lifted. Can you please let me know the options? USCIS, please contact USCIS. My mother received an immigrant visa stamping on her passport, Mumbai consulate, and the immigrant visa is valid until June 2nd. I'm not sure if she'll be able to travel before June 2nd based on the current COVID situation. I was wondering what the process is to extend immigrant visa stamping to a future date, USCIS. Okay, thank you very much. Somebody will be missing me. I'll be missing all of you as well. Citizen, what is the travel document needed to travel to India immediately after the travel restrictions are removed? I think, are we allowed to travel with a valid OCI? Now, valid OCI will remain valid after this current restrictions are removed. So wait till it is removed. After that, it will be valid. There are quite a few questions because more and more questions are getting added. So I think I'll tell you that probably you'll have to send emails and we will respond.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay. I think I have already mentioned that, in the chat that whoever has questions, please email us at info@sfpatm.org. So we will collect the questions from there, and then we'll forward it to you and the respective team in case if it's not answered here. Most of the questions you have answered here, and it's a pretty well handled. And thank you so much for your time here. And I really want to thank, because when our team was initially trying to get a time from Deputy General, you volunteered yourself in order to come online and answer to every one of our questions. That shows really your commitment towards the work, and also during the weekend time actually. So now I will let Meena to address the last thank you meeting. Thank you thing.
I just wanted to add something here that I've been trying to be in touch with the community at this difficult juncture because I know people have questions, and answering individual questions is always better to answer things in a collective format so that many people who have similar queries get to know the answer. I've been coming on the radio these days, and I noticed that that has also helped in people getting a lot of their queries answered. And of course, as soon as the travel restrictions open, I'll be moving. But in the current time, it will be difficult for me to personally say farewell and goodbye to a lot of people. So this also gives me the opportunity that anyway I could say bye, but at the same time, of course, I'll remain connected. These days, you remain digitally connected wherever you are.
Yeah, as people have mentioned, I think we may really miss you, but we'll try to catch up with you for one more. I think people are asking for one more call. If you have really a time, maybe next week or following week, we'll try to arrange a call whenever you're free. And yeah, we may be missing you if you're moving out. Such a dedicated person, we would like to get on board with us as well. And yeah, I think people are asking about the radio.
In case I am not available, then my Deputy Consul General Rajesh Naik will definitely be available to come online, or our Consul for Community Affairs, Madam Sumati Rao. So either I'll be there or one of them will be there for the interaction.
Thank you so much.
Sure, we'll definitely connect with one of you. Thank you so much. We would also like to, at this point of time, we would also like to thank Rajesh ji, Sumati ji, and also Anjali ji for they just really helped us in coordinating this meeting, and then they were on top of everything whenever we try to connect with your office. So we really thank you, sir, and your team. We definitely miss you. I will connect with Anjali ji for another session, if possible, with Rajesh ji or Sumati ji. And then we will also communicate with our team who are people who are waiting for so many questions. We'll also, for the people who are listening today, please make sure that we will definitely get the answers, and then we'll try to communicate through your Tamil Sangams. All the answers, frequently asked questions, we will create as a doc, and then we'll share it to you. So if anybody had joined a little late, don't worry, we'll definitely share everything with the Tamil Sangams, and then we will also publish in our Facebook page, which is San Francisco Bay Area Tamil Mandram. So you can search for the San Francisco Bay Area Tamil Mandram page, and then we will be Facebook page. We'll be posting it in that Facebook page as well. Thank you so much, sir, and we really appreciate for. It's a long call because you were taking so many questions, and then most of the questions was covered. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay.